What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We are going to be doing the Q&A today that I mentioned on my Instagram last week. I had an Instagram post that I put up, so if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, go over there, follow me. I usually do some Q&As, and I try to interact with all of you guys as much as I can, as well as down in the comments section below. You guys know that if there's a question that I missed today in this video that you guys want to answer, just ask right below down there and I'll try to get to it. We'll get right to some questions. Try not to make this too boring. I've got about 25-ish questions that I'm going to be answering. First up, we've got, what's your favorite exercise? And that is a very hard question. Obviously, personal preference, you can't just have one exercise and be a good bodybuilder off of it. If I had to pick one exercise just off the bat, I would probably say deadlifts are my favorite. Anybody that's been following me a long time knows that's always been one of my favorite things to do at end of back days, beginning of back days, all kinds of stuff. Really enjoy deadlifts, picking weight up, putting it back down. You can kind of see, where you stand as far as, it's a dead weight. You're picking that and lift like that's a lot of mental strength, but it's a tough lift. And, when you do something that you haven't done, like weight or reps or whatever with it, it's accomplished, it's a good feeling. So definitely my favorite exercise, I would say, would be barbell deadlifts. What would you say is your first job, being a bodybuilder or an online coach, or maybe being a dad? This is a great question. Obviously in the last few years I became a father. I've been bodybuilding now for 10 plus years, believe it or not. It's crazy to say that, but I started when I was about 15, and I'm going to be turning 26 this summer, so I've been doing it since 2010. I did my first show back in the Dallas Europa, and life has changed a lot. I was back in high school back when I did my first shows, so now obviously this is my primary job, quote unquote, and I would say bodybuilding is my primary job. I obviously have sponsors and stuff that make bodybuilding possible, but it's all kind of a synergistic element. They help me, I help them. And this has been my career now for 5+ years. Ever since I dropped out of school. I was 2 years into college. For anybody that hasn't followed me for that long, or maybe just tuning in for the first time, I was a sophomore in college at the University of Texas at San Antonio, going for business. And just had an opportunity. I won the Mr. USA championships July of 2015. I was 20 years old. That was my summer of my sophomore year, and kind of just took off from school, took off with my career, and kind of just didn't look back. I haven't been back to school since. One of my goals is definitely to get back in school at some point, but I'm kind of riding the wave while I can. That's a loaded question. I would definitely say being dad is first and foremost. Anybody out there that has kids knows that, but I really see bodybuilding as my job, so it puts food on my family's plate. Obviously I coach a lot of people online. I don't have like a ridiculous amount of clients to where that's gonna fund my life if I step away from the bodybuilding stage at this moment. In the future, maybe that's something that could fuel my life a little bit more. I really do enjoy helping guys out there, guys and gals out there that want to get ready for shows, or maybe just general fat loss, or just want to learn. How can I grow my muscles? I really have embraced and enjoyed helping a lot of folks out there. Some of you guys are watching this video right now, Team Montgomery representing. But we'll see what the future holds. But right now, I would say, first and foremost, my job title is dad, but I would say IFBB Pro bodybuilder on stage would come next, and then obviously online coaching, Team Montgomery, and all my hobbies and all that kind of stuff after that. So that hopefully answers that question. All right, so the next question: how much could you bench when you first walked into the gym, and what was your body weight? I still remember it like it was yesterday. I was very fortunate growing up. I went to the first gym I ever went to was Lifetime Fitness, Allen, McKinney, Texas, right there on the border. Anybody out there in the 750 area, say what's up. I appreciate all you guys watching. But that is my hometown gym. I was probably around about 100 pounds. I was a skateboarder, did a lot of sports growing up. I was just kind of skinny. I was naturally really lean. I couldn't put on a lot of weight, so once I started training, once I started eating right, once I figured out, a few things, I started to gain weight, gain muscle, but I have to eat a lot. I have to really try. So I was a little kid when I first got into the gym, but I was a strong kid. I remember when I was in 7th or 8th grade, I was probably able to bench maybe 185 pounds, maybe closer to maybe 200. I remember as a freshman in high school, I powerlifted. That was the only year I ever powerlifted. And I benched right around 300 pounds. I deadlifted 535 or 555. I don't know why I don't remember that, but one of those two numbers at a meet. And then I squatted, I think, like 495 that year. So I was in the 181s as a freshman. So you can kind of see that was around my first show, my second show, when I started kind of getting more into bodybuilding. So that's kind of my history. I started training at a good gym. I still remember kind of having to sneak over, like if you've ever been to Lifetime, there's like a carpeted area and then there's a tile or whatever, a hard floor. You can't be on the hard floor if you are under the age of 16, I think it is, or maybe 15. And I for sure was trying to break the rules as much as I could to get over there and try to do some dumbbells and some barbells. So if that tells you anything, how long I've been lifting. So now when I go back to Lifetime, I still remember those days I wasn't allowed, and still kind of like I see those kids and I'm like, man, I wish I could help you. All right. So the next question, do you keep a training log? I somewhat do. As you guys see on my Instagram and Snapchat, I post a lot of my workouts, so I'll kind of write them out. So a lot of times what I do is I'll write out, what kind of exercises I want to do or what order. Because sometimes what was happening is I'll get into the gym and I don't really have a plan. I just start getting all this blood going all around. I just want to work out, and some of it doesn't really make sense at the end of the day. So if I start to think before, I got all this blood running around, and I kind of have more of a plan in my head, even if it's in my head, I at least have somewhat of an approach that I can go in there and execute to a better degree, rather than just being a little kid chasing the pump and not really having a reason for doing each thing that I do. So I don't really have a training log as far as reps, sets, all that kind of stuff. I have an idea of what I want to do, but I go off of feel a lot of times. Obviously if I'm training with my boy MI40 Drew up at MI40 gym in Tampa, obviously he's got more of a log, more of a system that we're following. But when I'm training by myself, I keep in my head kind of what I want to do, but I don't like track it week to week and like my weights and that kind of stuff. It's just too tedious, and I don't want to burn myself out at some point. I just want to enjoy it, right? All right, so the next question, is it better to slowly up your calories in a bulk or just shoot for a high calorie diet with still clean food and have your body grow into it? So there's obviously different methods, different approaches, and it depends on where you're at. Someone that's super small that wants to just start getting big, like say, for instance, me when I was the 15-year-old first stepping into the gym, I say, yeah, you should just go ahead and start just eating a lot, because you probably aren't eating a lot as is, and you're growing and all that kind of stuff. But if you're a grown man, if you've already gone through puberty, if you've already gone through all that kind of stuff, I would start moderate always and kind of build your way up, because what's going to happen is you're just, you don't want to just dive right in head first. You want to take baby steps to where you can master the plan, be confident. And the other thing is too, if you kind of slowly up your food, your metabolism, your digestive system, everything will slowly get used to stuff rather than just throwing it full force, and your system could be all out of whack for a long time from that. And it could take a long time to try to catch up to that amount of food, or it could maybe never catch up depending on your system. So I would always go kind of slow, get to an area that's comfortable, and then, slowly, hopefully what will happen is your metabolism will start to speed up, ideally from the training, from the supplements, from cardio, from being on a good diet, all that kind of stuff, from having cheat meals if you do it correctly. And then you can kind of slowly work your way up from there and master it, a little add-ons at a time rather than being like all at once. So that's what I would suggest. All right, so the next question, I've gotten a couple of them, so I'll put both of them on the board. But the next show, obviously you guys remember a few vlogs ago, which I will link right here. The show announcement, I was going to be doing Boston Pro in June, and that was like right before all this madness happened, all this absolute craziness. So, as I sit here right now, we're like around 10 weeks out from the Boston Pro, or what would be the Boston Pro. And to be honest, I have no idea what the next 10 weeks entail with what's going on. So my approach right now is I'm just trying to be real with myself, and I know I need to grow, so I'm trying to lean bulk, I guess you could say, to a certain extent. I'm not really diving into a prep like I am, going to be doing a show in X amount of weeks. I'm going to be in good shape, and depending on how the next few weeks, next few months roll out, hopefully we have a lot of positive news in the coming weeks. Hopefully, pretty much everything's on lockdown right now. There's no international travel, all that kind of stuff is just pretty much stopped. So, realistically, I would really hope that stuff gets back to normal and I'll be in a place that I can, step on the gas, like say 5-6 weeks out and really be in a good place. Like I am still training, I'm still able to train, I'm still able to be eating. I feel like I'm making progress right now. But inside my head, man, it's just kind of weird because it's like, you just don't know. They're canceling shows left and right. And, I'm hopeful that Boston will be my next show. But at the same time, I'm being realistic. So I kind of have, a couple other ideas in the back of my head. Like I mentioned in that video, if you guys do go watch it, I was planning to do 3 or 4 shows this summer. So, how much this is going to screw up everything, I guess, is time will tell. But my foot's still on the pedal. Like I'm going to be competing this summer, just who knows really when, but I will keep you guys updated, obviously. Hopefully, things pan out a little bit better than what they're seeming like. But with everything happening the way it is, man, I don't know. And I'm sure just like you guys, you don't really know. During this lockdown, is it better to try to maintain or continue trying to grow? Only have resistance bands. Is cardio still needed? And should I be eating as much as when the gym was open? More carbs or same or less? More protein or same or less? A lot of people are asking me this, so I will definitely address this question. I'll try to go in depth for you guys out there that are maybe in this guy's same position. Basically, he's at home, just has resistance bands, and is like, do I try to just maintain? Do I try to bulk? Like, what do I try to do? So there's a few advantages to the time that you have right now. Obviously, that not being access to a gym, access to a normal routine, access to maybe your normal diet foods, but you gotta think positive. So we do have one positive thing going on for right now. You can take a lot of naps, you can sleep a lot, and when you sleep, you're gonna grow. So technically, yes, you're not gonna be maybe breaking down your muscles much in the gym, but you can be sleeping and you can still be quote unquote recovering. So if you are able to use the resistance bands to a certain extent, that you are able to stimulate your muscles, you can maybe grow a little bit. You're not gonna be growing a ton. So what I would tell most everyone out there, unless you have an extremely fast metabolism, is bump back your calories just a little bit. You know what I mean? You're gonna be sitting inside more, let's get real. You're gonna be playing PlayStation like I've been doing, or sitting on your butt, doing whatever, not walking around, not getting on the bus, not going to work, not doing whatever you normally do. So bump the calories back just a little bit based on that. Now, if you start to lose weight or whatever, obviously bump your calories back up, but it wouldn't be a bad thing to kind of, drop your carbs down just a little bit since your activity levels are going to be down a little bit. But now, if you're out doing yard work all day, trying to be super active, don't really worry about it. If you're going to be, know that you're going to be a bum, yeah, definitely drop your calories back a little bit. But, for the most part, I would really think of right now as like trying to maintain. Don't really think about trying to grow. Even with me, going to the gym, with everything going on, I am trying to grow, but I'm just happy to be maintaining through all of this, especially, with the first few weeks of just absolute chaos here. But, I feel like I'm in a great place now. Hopefully you guys out there are getting in somewhat of a rhythm or routine. Obviously it's not your norm, but hopefully you guys are adjusting. And like I said in my post today, you guys got to adapt, overcome, and then you can conquer. All right, my boy Scotty, he's asking if you could talk about year-round diets and then different coaches training you. So to be honest and real with you guys, like I want to be with my YouTube, I will usually diet about 70 to 80% of the year. I will take a few months after my show and kind of chill. And I always have done that pretty much for eternity. The only exceptions being maybe I'll have a few weeks after, or maybe a few months after the show where I'm guest posing, doing photo shoots, or maybe trying to be really good on my rebound to where I'm going to diet for a few weeks or a few months after the show, and then I take a few months off. I've always done that. I just kind of see this balance thing Obviously we eat a lot of protein, so we shouldn't be eating a lot of protein all the time. So I cut it back, during those, I'd say 2 to 3 months, 2-ish months. But, for me, it's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna off season bulk, prep for a show, and then I'm gonna relax and let my body chill. And that way, my mind is as rejuvenated and refreshed as my body is, because you only got one of each. So, I was a great golfer before this, not a great golfer, I was an okay golfer, but I just burnt myself out. And looking back on it, I wish I hadn't. And why did I? Because I was just so 24/7. I never let myself have any kind of balance, any kind of break, any kind of chill time. So that's why, you live and you learn. So that's kind of the approach that I've taken with it. And some people will critique me for it. And, to those people, I don't really care. Because, like I said, you only got one body, man. So take care of it and make sure you're happy in your mind with what you're doing. And that you can go through the whole process and say, I'm feel good, I'm happy, and I still feel like I have a little bit of balance. And touching on the different coaches training you, pros and cons. Every coach is going to have their pros and cons. I'm not going to touch too much on that question. I've been with Chris Aceto for now ever since I was Mr. USA. So like since 2014 November we got together. So a long time. I think Chris is pretty much the best is the best. He's taught me a lot, and I think that you have to find someone that's going to cater to you and your process, and everyone has a different routine, everyone has a different job, everything, all that kind of stuff taken into account. So I don't know, I just kind of feel like you got to find something that kind of feels like a natural fit. Most of my guys that I train, I feel like we get along with each other. They get me, I get them. The more the effort they put towards me, the more effort I'm going to put towards them. And I also understand everyone has a schedule. Everyone has foods that they like, that they don't like. I'm not, one of those, it's got to be one way or the highway. I just don't really think coaches like that are the way to go, at least for my people like myself and, mindsets like myself, because I just couldn't do it. But props to those that can. All right, Lord Snow, what did your cycle, nutritional supplements, and diet look like to regain your size after your injury? You look amazing, brother, and I'm super excited to keep seeing your progress. God bless. God bless you, brother. I appreciate you asking the question. And I really didn't change a ton. I just got back on the basics as far as training, supplements. I was taking a lot of Glycolog. We didn't even have this SST out until towards the end of Japan. And I didn't even take the IGF until after Japan. But I messed with the GHSST a little bit during. But to be real, I just was really consistent, and I just got really in a good routine, and I just did the same damn thing every day. That's what I always tell people. Consistency is the key. Obviously, there's little secrets and tips and tricks along the way, but you guys gotta hit me up for coaching to find out. No, I'm just kidding. But on the real, it's consistency is really the key. For Japan, I felt like my training was really spot on, despite having this little pec. Situation that I was having, training with MI40 Drew and Liana for some of the workouts. I really felt like I learned, and I was more locked in with my body than ever before. I felt like my workouts were the most effective they've ever been, and I felt like the diet was relatively easy. I just felt like I was in a good place, and I felt like if I kept on going for a few more months from there, I was only going to get better and better. How do you like living in Florida? I remember doing my cardio inside this past winter because it's snowing outside, and I see you in your vlogs walking outside and it's sunny. Man, it is sunny, it's hot, and it's like summer 24/7. There's a few months that it's bearable. I just went fishing here a little bit ago around lunchtime, and it was pretty damn hot. I was definitely sweating. Anybody that knows me, I'm a pretty sweaty dude so, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I guess it's better than being snowy and wintry, but sometimes I miss the winter, I miss the seasons. Texas had a little bit of seasons, so we had a little bit of, break from the hot. Of course, it got super hot there during the summers, but it had a little bit of seasons. Here, it's just pretty much hot, hotter, and then the most hot. So, and then, obviously when it's the hot and it's not hotter or the most hot is when all the tourists are here. So it gets super packed and crazy. So, Yeah, it's something. I enjoy it. I will say it makes life easy when I see all you guys up north digging yourselves out, going to do cardio or going to the gym or going to the grocery store or whatever. So, you know, props to you guys having to deal with that. All right, so the next question, do you think it is possible to recomp, or should you try to either gain size or cut body fat and then try to gain size? It really depends on the person, I would say, and obviously your situation. If you're rather overweight, if you have maybe above 12, 14, 15% body fat, I would say focus just on cutting first. Get yourself in a relatively good position and then work your way up from there as far as putting on lean body tissue. Your system and your metabolism will work a lot better like that. But it depends. You know, if you do try to do both at one time, it is going to be a process as far as time. A lot of people aren't patient enough to wait for their metabolism and everything to catch up, and you know, let their body actually do the work. So because that would take months and months. But it solely depends on the person and kind of how far off they are, I guess. Some mistake you make during your career and you learn from them. So I haven't really even gone on to camera on this, I don't think. But I would say one of the biggest mistakes that I have learned from is after the USAs in 2015. I had won everything as an amateur, which I actually saw one of the other questions pertains to this later on in the questions, so this will be kind of funny. But I did the USAs, I won, I was 20 years old, won the overall, felt like I was on top of the world. And then I went on and I got invited to do the Arnold, and I was like, holy, of course, I'm gonna do the Arnold. I did, you know, I got invited to the Arnold, I got invited to Arnold Australia, I got invited to the Arnold Brazil, and I was like, holy moly, my eyes were just huge, and I just, you know, got in my head, and I was like, oh, you know, I can go out there and I can make a statement, I can make an impact, you know, I'm different than these other guys, you know, I'm different. That's what I kept telling myself. And, you know, I just wasn't ready for it. I wasn't. I remember seeing Sean Roden, of course, Mr. Olympia, the night before. I was walking the halls trying to go get one of my tans. Anybody that's been at the Arnold Classic knows that all the kind of hotels interlock. So I was walking down one of those hallways, and I bump into Sean, and he tells me, he's like, you know, me and Chris, or, you know, me and him have the same trainer, Chris Cito, so we kind of have a bond already. You know, I don't know him that well, but I've kind of, you know, talked to him, ran into him a little bit. He told me, Cody, you're gonna go there tomorrow. You're gonna get humiliated. You're gonna get your ass kicked, and you're gonna feel like it's the end of the world. But it's just part of the process. And he said, there's nothing you can do about it. You just gotta pay your dues. So, you know, for him to say that, I kind of got myself mentally prepared. But I was like, nah, you know, man, you know, I could do this. Whatever. You know, I can. You know, top 6 is gonna be like, holy, like whatever. And, you know, I go on, I do the show, and of course, anybody that watched, you know, I got 10th. So, you know, it wasn't terrible. I beat Tony Freeman, Johnny Jackson, 2 guys I'd watched for a long time, you know, trying to stay positive that I didn't get last place. And, yeah, then I went on to Australia, and I felt like I got top 6 there, and then I got squeezed out of the top 6. I was 7th, got, you know, no money. So it was just, it was a reality check, you know, and it was something that I look back on. And you can't change the past, but I always think, like, if I didn't do those shows and I just stayed on top of the world like I was, just training like an animal, eating like an animal, you know, what would have been? Like, you know, what would have been if I just went and done, you know, Tampa right after USA's, or not done that, waited the whole year, and then done some small show a year later. It just makes you think. So, you know, anybody out there that thinks like, oh man, it's probably so cool, you know, go head first, take your time, be ready. And think about the consequences of some of your actions for sure. Because, you know, I always say dream huge, but you got to dream huge within the proximity of reality. So hopefully that answers that question. How would you recommend putting on as much muscle as possible for a teenager? So I, of course, was a teenager. I bodybuilt from, you know, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, every year. The biggest help for me was single-handedly making my shakes ahead of time. I would do 2 scoops, or, you know, 1.5 scoops to 2 scoops of whey, you know, like some 3 whey I got over here, or we've got some isolation over here. I would usually use like an isolate But I would put that in a blender. I would put it in with 1 cup of oats. I would put 2 tablespoons of peanut butter and mix all that in. And I would make 2 of those, bring them to school. I'd bring my chicken sandwich lunch, which was basically shredded up chicken breasts on two different sandwiches, so 4 pieces of bread. And those were my 3 meals I had at school. Had my breakfast at home. I was very regimented, and I just ate a ton of food. And I would eat my meal, and if I was still hungry, I would eat a little bit more, because I was growing, and I knew it. And obviously when I was prepping and doing like preps for the shows, I wouldn't eat more food. But I'm just saying, in general, when I was like 15, 16, just trying to bulk up, I remember I would have 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches next to my bed, and a protein shake. And when I would wake up to go to the bathroom around 2 or 3 a.m., I would eat the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and then drink the shake, go back to bed. Or when I would train at 7 o'clock before school, or 6:30 or whatever it was, I would have a shake ready right next to bed at like 4 or 5 a.m. Wake up, pound that, go straight to the gym, do what I gotta do, come home, shower, still be sweating, get on the bus, go to school. It's just the life. But I just ate a lot of food. I ate clean. I didn't really try to like quote unquote diet all year. Just the 12 weeks that I would 12 to 16 weeks that I would prep, and pretty much just try to stay eating clean. But I like I said earlier in this video, I didn't really put on a lot of fat easily. So somebody that has to keep that in mind. If you have a slower metabolism stuff. So just keep that all in mind. Hopefully that helps. All right, so here's that question I was talking about earlier. How did you mentally deal with being an undefeated teen, junior, best of all time, appreciate you, man, to entering the pro circuit and having to basically work your way up? Was there a lot of pressure put on you? At the time, I didn't feel a ton of pressure, especially after USA's, just because there's basically no one else that had done what I had done, at 20, and everyone's like, oh, he's 20, he's got lots of time. I remember Sergio, shout out Sergio, by the way, just killed it to Arnold, told me shortly after I had turned pro, man, you could take 10 years off, walk away, come back in 10 years and still be younger than most of us on stage. And just those kind of things to kind of put it into perspective. I didn't feel a ton of pressure to be super competitive right away, but obviously I wanted to be competitive. I wanted to be in the mix. I would say I didn't really feel much pressure until after the Arnold. After the Arnold, I was definitely like, okay, I realized I got my ass kicked. I was not all that, not that special, and this is going to be a lot of work, and not only that, but everyone else wants it just as bad as you. I think that's what I kind of realized. This is how people are feeding their families. You got to take it seriously, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And if you don't, it's going to show. And, sometimes it takes a wake up call or two to really realize, where you're at and what it's going to take to get to that next level. And I think it was pretty much the Arnold that made me realize that, and kind of made me feel that pressure of, okay, I better step my game up or I'm going to be old news real quick. You keep me motivated, man. I appreciate you, Hayden. What got you into bodybuilding, and how did it feel to compete for the first time? So I remember I was living in Texas, grew up in, just north of Dallas, Texas. Was getting ready for middle school football. I started training with my older brother at the Lifetime Fitness that I previously mentioned. And basically got in there, trained with my older brother that was 3 years older than me to bulk up and get ready to start playing ball. And, I just kind of fell in love with the weights. I was like, obviously wanted to play football, but I kind of like lifting weights even more. And it just, slowly grew on me, to the point where, I was sneaking out to get my workouts in and, missing football practice once I started playing football to lift weights, or I would, lift after football practice, or I'd lift before, and it would mess up my practice. They're starting to interfere. And, then I met a guy at the Lifetime Fitness that owned the supplement shop across the street that was like adjacent to the Lifetime. And he was basically like, I think I've seen you in here and you put on a lot of weight. Like I told you guys, I was 100 pounds when I first got in there, and I was, I put on, a good 50 pounds of just growing weight, obviously not muscle, over those, 3-4 years of just, becoming a kid, to a teenager, to a teenage boy, or whatever you want to call it. And he was like, you look like you have a lot of potential. Do you ever think about competing in bodybuilding? And I was like, oh, what's bodybuilding? You know, showed me like a magazine, and it was like, you know, with the banana hammock and all that. And I was like, don't know what about all that, but you know, I'll come over to your shop and I'll check it out. And he run me a diet, and he's like, you know, if you want to compete, I'll, you know, pay your entry fee, and you just got to represent the shop, and you know, try to send people over from Lifetime to get them customers. So I was like, you know, whatever. I got the diet, and it was like, you know, simple, easy. Watched a bunch of Flex Lewis videos, kind of based half of my diet off of that as well, and half, you know, pretty much all my training off of Jay Cutler and Flex Lewis back then, and got ready for my first show, and I ended up doing the Dallas Europa in 2010, and I still remember Seth Feroce won the 202 it was back then, and we've had stories exchanged from I still remember seeing him backstage, and I'm like, oh, you know, and then it's just crazy. Life's just crazy, but it felt amazing. I remember stepped off stage and told my mom, I don't want to do anything else. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. She's like, well, how are you gonna make money like bodybuilding? How are you gonna make money lifting weights? And I remember telling her, I was like, don't worry. Like, she's like, aren't you gonna go to college? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna make money lifting weights. That's all I knew. I didn't know how, but I knew I was going to. And you know, I was, I think, more in love with the lifting the weights than anything, and the competing part just kind of fell in line to give me a place to put all of my hard work and to showcase it, and to not only showcase it, but to validate what I was doing, and not just being some weird kid lifting a bunch of weights. Like, I was doing something that, you know, to ultimately get on stage, so it was a little bit different. But yeah, so I basically stepped on stage, knew this is what I wanted to do. It just felt like complete and whole in my heart, man. And you know, I'd done a lot of other stuff, and just kind of felt not like lost, but I was, you know, like, I don't think this is for me. You know, I played baseball, played basketball, played soccer, played football, you name it, I probably did it. And you know, once I found bodybuilding, that was really it for me, and I didn't really look back, you know. Did you use any protocol to have a child, or were you just lucky? I've had actually a lot of people ask me this, so I went ahead and I answered it. I didn't literally did anything special. Not to say that both, now I have 2 kids, of course. I didn't do anything special for either of them. And I know a lot of people are like, well, did you have some protocol, or did you do this, or did you do that? I think I just got strong swimmers, and I'm young. And I try to say that in the most nice way, because both my kids are the biggest blessing in the world. But yeah, no, I just got lucky. I think God was like, Cody, you were meant to be a dad. So just kind of happened. And you know, did I ever think I was going to be a dad? No, but here I am, and I absolutely love it. And I feel like it's made me a much better person than I was previously, and it's still making me a better person every day. And it gives me much more purpose for my life and for what I'm doing, even here on my YouTube channel, even here with the bodybuilding, everything. So I appreciate all you guys supporting me through the journey, through the process of becoming, you know, I was a little teenage kid playing Madden back in the day, Call of Duty, and now I'm a dad. I still play Call of Duty, but now I'm you know, a parent of 2, and living in Florida all the way away from my family, all that kind of stuff. So it's crazy. So I really do appreciate all you guys that follow along. Got my next one's from my boy over Brunel's. The days leading up, getting on stage, what do you eat to look your fullest without sacrificing definition? So to be honest, I don't really change a ton towards the end. I think some people overdo stuff or throw in a bunch of obstacles and a bunch of stuff that just isn't needed. So usually at the end, like, I'm eating potatoes, rice, English muffins, pretty simple, easy carbs, nothing crazy, but the biggest thing for definition and stuff like that is going to be like the reverse osmosis process with your water, and being able to pull your water from your said body and push carbs into your muscles to make your skin pop. So it's kind of like there's not one food that you eat, it's kind of a process of like, okay, you know, a little bit less water, eat a little bit more, you know, pull that water, you know, and then obviously you got, you know, stuff like evaporate, which I've got somewhere in here, and, you know, some of the other stuff to lose water. But yeah, my carb sources towards the end are pretty easy, you know, rice, potatoes, English muffins, so pretty much what I'm eating, you know, throughout the majority of the year and when I am dieting. What's your What's your cardio of choice, HIIT or LISS? I like HIIT. I really like having a short amount of time that I am full on kicking some ass. So I usually do 20 to 30 minutes, usually 30 minutes on the Stairmaster, and I will up my intensity as I go through the process. As far as, like 10 weeks out, I'm doing maybe like a level 6, and maybe 6 weeks out or 5 weeks out, maybe like a level 8 or 9, to the point of, a lot more output, and I'm, a lot more efficient within that 30 minutes as far as burning calories. Low intensity does have its time. I usually end up doing that maybe my second session later in the day, walking the dog outside, going on an incline treadmill, something like that, if I end up doing 2 sessions, closer to the show, which I don't a ton, but usually that second session will be a little bit less intensity. Had gyno surgery about a month ago. I know you said you had it done too. How long before you were able to work out chest again? I didn't train chest for, I want to say 3 months after the surgery. I kind of got back into the gym and started doing, some shoulders and doing some back and doing some other stuff. And I started training chest around, I would say, the 10-week point after surgery, maybe like 9 to 10 weeks, and just kind of worked my way up. And then it was not long after that I, ended up having a little bit of scar tissue tear. So if you guys are out there that have had a gyno surgery and have, had the tubes that come out of your armpit to release the fluids after your surgery, I think that's what created some of my scar tissue. You will feel a lot of tearing when you're training chest, because your pump's gonna, your pec's gonna continue to fill up with blood, and there's gonna be a lot of places in there that have not stretched out, and it scared the shit out of me a couple times. So I'm just telling you guys that to warn you, and be very careful as you work your way up. Just go week by week, super slow, increase weight, and just, you'd rather be super careful than to, damage something and be regretful in the long run. Can you please answer what splits you do and how have they changed as you've gotten bigger and leaner? Best splits to build muscle, best splits to lean down. So I'll say this, I'll make this short and sweet. I've got 2 splits that I have found to be the most efficient. One for building muscle and one for cutting down. So the one for cutting down, I really think you're gonna increase your frequency. So you're gonna be training your body parts more often, almost 2 times a week. So I would do something more like this, and I'll write it down in the bottom. I'll try to for you guys. But day 1 being legs, day 2 being like a chest and triceps, day 3 being back, day 4 being legs again, day 5 being like a shoulders with a little bit of chest, and then day 6 being another arm day with some calves, and then day 7 is off. So that way you're training 6 days a week. You're hitting almost every body part other than shoulders twice a week, and you have 2 leg days in there, one more hamstring focus, one more quad focus, but you're still hitting both on both days. That's a very efficient way to burn calories and to trim down. So for building muscle, I think more so recovery. So I'm only going to be training 5 days a week. I'm going to be doing legs on the first day, I'm going to be doing chest on the second day, and then I'm going to do back. And then I'm going to take the 4th day off, let my body recoup, come back into the gym, do legs again, and then I'm going to do like a shoulder and maybe some arms, mostly arms on that last day, and then that's it. So basically a real traditional old school bodybuilding split with another rest day there. So that's going to be 7 days, 5 days training, 2 days rest. So that's, to me, the best 2 splits that I have personally used, off season, on season. How's life with 2 young ones now versus 1? It's been a little bit crazy, especially with, all the craziness going on here in the States and around the world. But it's been amazing. It's been awesome. I'm adjusting, and, I've been sleeping pretty well. He's a really, really good baby. So no complaints. I've been really, really happy and feel blessed. It's just been a kind of a stressful time with everything going on. So can you explain Glycolog and other subs you take from Blackstone Labs? Interested in getting their stuff. So Glycolog is probably, I would say, my #1 favorite supplement from Blackstone Labs. This is going to be a nutrient partitioner. So basically like an insulin mimicker. You take it with your high carb meals. It's going to help digest the carbs better and help your muscles actually better utilize the glycogen that you're eating rather than being stored as body fat. And you'll notice a lot better pumps from it, and just better, you're not going to have as much belly fat eating the amount of carbs that you would normally if you're going to be taking this 2 times a day, and you can even take it a 3rd time if you do have a cheat meal. It's a great supplement for having at cheat meals. But I usually have this at breakfast and post-workout, which are my 2 biggest carb meals, and then like I said, at cheat meals as well. Some of the other supplements, I mean, we could just run down a couple of these. Obviously, if you guys have any questions, hit me up, and you guys know that you can use my name, Cody Montgomery, and it saves you guys 20% on all these products anytime. Adrenal Care, one of the more health-oriented supplements from Blackstone Labs. Really good for managing stress, really good for getting your tolerances better for caffeine and stimulants. We've got, of course, our multivitamin now, which is really great right now with everything going on, but this actually also has a test-boosting agent in it. And then I had a question earlier today about what I take for my joints and how I keep my joints so healthy. Orthobolic is definitely my favorite joint supplement that Blackstone Labs makes. And then we've got, like, you know, the Carnit Trim, which is going to be more for cutting. I take this before fasted cardio. Got all kinds of stuff. Of course, we've got Dust. The Cool Lime is fire. The Candy Apple as well. Dust V2 is going to be the least or less potent out of the 2 as far as the Dust X. I personally like the Dust V2. Dust X, just a little bit step up if you want a little bit more stems. And then Hyperloaded is going to be the pump product that we have with stimulant-based dust. So I really like this Cool Lime flavor. We've got BCAAs, we've got Juiced Up, we've got Formula 19, which Formula 19 is a very unique product. You guys can tell I use a ton of it. Pre-workout, intra-workout, post-workout, all kinds of stuff. Basically a carb and recovery drink. Usually I'm drinking this intra-workout if you guys see me sipping on something during my workout. But then obviously we got the whey, 3-way and isolation. So lots and lots of supplements. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, hit me up through my Instagram, through Snapchat, or even here on YouTube, and I will try to help you guys. Do you still throw in old school compound movements into your workouts? Like barbell press, deadlifts, bent barbell rows, barbell military press, etc.? And what kind of split, rep range, tempo, time under tension is it? So I really just do deadlifts out of those. I don't really do a ton of barbell military press. I don't really do a ton of bent over barbell rows. But with the deadlifts, I personally just try to work up to like a heavy 8 to 10 reps. I don't try to go super low reps and just try to do, you know, bang out a couple good sets. It's kind of more of a heavy exercise. I usually use it as like a finisher. Like just working my way up to like an eight kind of reps is usually my typical set to rep kind of range there. Did you feel your body took a negative, but you made your transformation for the Japan Pro? Also, what was the stage weight? By far the best you've looked on stage. Incredible physique. Thank you very much. To be honest, I think I was just happy to be on stage. At the end of the day, I was coming back from a lot of stuff, and how I looked, you guys have seen the transformation photos, which I'll put down right there, made it, you know, a lot more sweeter than probably would have been for people looking from the outside in. But I feel like I overcame a lot of odds, got my body in a good spot. I definitely think that I wasn't at my absolute best or all-time best as far as what I can be, but it was just a step in the right direction, if that makes sense. I was happy with how I looked and happy with how things went. Obviously, I wanted to do a little bit better, but you live, you learn, and, you know, hopefully I'm going to be back up there soon, you know, get a little bit of redemption. What's your thoughts on bulking? I think, you know, I think everyone needs to bulk at some point. It depends on, you know, obviously someone's age, their physique, you know, how far off or how on they are. You know, some people stay too lean all year, believe it or not. But I think bulking has a relatively loose term to it. I think lean bulking is absolutely necessary. But I think people saying like dirty bulking and just bulking, you know, you don't overuse the term, but just, you know, use that time as something to eat a little bit more calories, but don't use it as to eat a bunch of crap, you know what I mean? And try to lean bulk, don't just try to bulk. I'm generally curious about this. Does having children make it harder to be a competitive bodybuilder? I would love a little me one day, but I don't feel I could balance the solo sport of bodybuilding with a child that needs love and attention. Just curious how you balance that. To be real, it's hard. And I'm still learning because, like you said, it's a solo sport. You know, bodybuilding is so 24/7, 365, just like I was saying a little bit ago. And that takes away from family life, that takes away from being a dad, that takes away from a lot of things of normality and normal life. So make sure that, one, you have a very understanding partner or a very understanding situation to what you do. But I will say it is possible. If there is ever a will, there is a way. It makes it harder. You just have to plan more. You've got to stay on top of it. Obviously, you're not just worried about yourself anymore. You got a lot of other things to worry about. So you have a lot of other hats to wear, if that makes sense. It makes things harder, but it doesn't make them impossible. And like I said, I'm still learning. So hopefully I'm gonna become a master at it. And if you ask me that question here in a couple of years, I'll be like, yeah, I know all the answers. But yeah, I mean, it's possible. Hopefully. I mean, I did it last year with one. We're gonna see how we can do it too this year. And that is going to be the last question for this Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully it wasn't too long. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. But, I try to answer you guys' questions, try to interact with you guys when I can. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in and watching my channel. Make sure you guys go down there, hit the subscribe button, like this video, leave a comment. If there's any questions that I didn't get to or that you want answered maybe in the next video, go ahead and drop them down below. And like I said, I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. So until next video, God bless, guys.